Hello everybody, Joe here with Garden of Luma. Today's video, I want to give you an update on my Atemoyas here. I am in the Phoenix, Arizona area, growing zone 9B, and I've had a few questions about how my Atemoyas are doing, so I wanted to update you here. It is April now, so let's talk a little bit about Atemoyas here. As you can see, this one is in a container here, and it's coming out of winter, so we're getting warm now. And as you can see, it is starting to leaf out here. Okay, so let me get up closer here. So you can see there's a flower bud. This thing is loaded with flower buds right now. So I'm gonna have a ton of flowers on this guy. As you can see, it still has some of last year's leaves on it. You can see the yellowing, kind of beat up leaves on it. And this is what it does. Like, it is semi-deciduous. It'll hold some of its leaves throughout the winter and then just slowly drop them off as it starts putting out the new growth in the spring. So this is just perfectly normal, especially for our climate here when we dip around freezing. And this one, I never moved this tree. So this is my wall of my house here. So this is east facing. So after, I'd say probably 1, 2 o'clock, it is in the shade here. And so it's a good spot for it in the summertime. I wasn't sure about it in the winter though, because I thought it'd get shaded too early, get too cold at night. And I just got kind of lazy because it's in a big tub here and I never moved it. So I'm like, so I was kind of worried about it, being that it's above ground, that it might freeze during the winter. We got as low as, I believe, 25 degrees one night in February that did some damage to some of my trees. So Atemoyas do well here in the Phoenix, Arizona area as long as you put them in the right spot. You don't want to put them just full sun exposed like that, but if you put them in a nice microclimate, you know, next to houses, next to structures that keep them warm in the winter, you know, they do good. I mean, it's kind of comparable to me to a guava tree. So the ones that I have are grown from seed, and Atemoya is a hybrid, so I'm not exactly sure what I'll get out of this. It's a hybrid between a cherimoya and a sugar apple, so it might take on one or the other parent traits, more so than being a true Atemoya. If you want to get a true Atemoya, it needs to be grafted, so buy a grafted plant, but the seedlings tend to grow more vigorously, and since we are in a marginal climate, it can push through some of our extreme conditions here in the desert, like the heat or the cold snaps that we get, a little bit better than a grafted plant. So if you buy a grafted one, it's gonna grow slower and you'll have to baby it a little bit more. All right, so let me show you my in-ground tree now. Okay, so here is my Atemoya here that is in the ground, and it's kind of wedged in between a lot of other things going on around it, so it's a little bit tough to see. But this one got hit harder in the winter time, and I did protect it. You know, the first couple years, this past winter, I said, I am not going to protect this. I left it exposed, and it's in probably the center of my yard. So it's surrounded by a lot of deciduous trees. All these trees were open. They had lost all their leaves around it. So it was kind of exposed here out in the middle of my yard, which is a little bit colder area. And it did really well up until the one night in February that it got down to about 25 degrees, and then it just fried all the leaves on this tree here. And so it looked really rough. It got beat up, but it didn't really do much damage to the tree at all. I did trim back a few of the limbs a little bit, the ends and things, but as you can see, it's, you know, recovering now, fully leafing out as it should. And this one has flower buds on it as well, but I've noticed it's not quite as much as the container tree, which is kind of surprising. So you'd think the tree in the ground would do a little bit better, and it has gotten a bit larger overall, but I would have thought the tree in the ground would have taken the cold a little bit better and done a little better than the container. But surprisingly, the container tree did a little bit better, and maybe it was just because it was next to that wall that gave it a little extra warmth. I'm not sure, but it's still fine. You know, it lost all those leaves, all those dead leaves, dropped them all, and now it is flushing out a lot of new growth here, and it's going to look really good here soon. One of the biggest things with Atemoyas, Anonas in general here, is just getting them to fruit. They don't like super dry during pollination. They like humidity, and we are a desert, so we're pretty dry all the time. So that's a challenge, as well as the extreme heat they don't like. So they tend to drop the fruit when we get super hot here. So those are some of the challenges you're trying to work through. I don't know if I'll ever get fruit. I have a sugar apple as well, and I did get some fruit set last year, but the fruit ended up dropping, so we'll see. I'm going to continue to try to hand pollinate these guys to see if eventually I can get a fruit off of this, and I will keep you posted on that. Check me out at gardenofluma.com for more tips on gardening and growing fruit trees in hot, dry climates. Thanks for watching.